Gloriana, the Virgin Queen, good Queen Bess. The many names for Queen Elizabeth I, who ruled England, Ireland, and Wales from 1558 to her death in 1603, captured different aspects of her persona. As Gloriana, she was royal and divine, the muse of poets and playwrights, and more likely to look down from the heavens than gaze up at them. As the Virgin Queen, she sacrificed intimate relations to retain her full power as a monarch. As good Queen Bess, she was a beloved mother to her people, not just their ruler. Both virgin and mother, she was Mary, Mother of God, in royal form. From all that Dakota had read about her, Queen Elizabeth I was like the first reality star, adored by fans who wore miniature portraits of her as jewelry, or who lined the streets for a glimpse of her on horseback as she traveled through the countryside each summer. Despite the grand scale of her royal progress, a procession that included dozens of courtiers and hundreds of carts towing provisions, the Queen always took time to greet her subjects. She was offered small gifts, serenaded with poems, and even invited to take refreshment as she traveled to the next great estate. Elizabeth was the 16th century equivalent of a celebrity who took selfies with her fans. She was that kind of famous person, who would sit down and have a beer with a constituent, a comforting perception that would be critical to her upcoming campaign. Had it only been 5 months since Dakota dreamed up an audacious plan to save both the country and the cybersecurity company that she founded 26 years before? Was she crazy to think that she could convince a woman who had lived and died more than 4 centuries ago that she could become the most powerful figure in history again? But this time, the great English Queen's job would be more straightforward. She wouldn't have to defeat Europe's largest naval power, maintain control of the state religion, or thwart domestic or foreign assassins. Instead, she would be tasked with running against the vile incumbent president, who was an imminent threat to democracy and to the private ownership of Dakota's company. If her Elizabeth were anything like what Dakota imagined, by this time next year, a Tudor would be sitting in the Oval Office. Dakota would remain under her control, the U.S. would be much more stable, women's rights would be restored, and all humanity would feel relieved that the nuclear football was no longer in the hands of an imbecile. That wasn't too much to hope for, was it? Maybe for someone else, but not for Dakota Wynfred. She'd never set a goal she couldn't meet. Sure, she was making a bold move, but it wasn't just for her own benefit. She was doing it for a higher purpose, just as her parents had always taught her. The most important thing any person can do is to improve the lives of others. Though she'd never hear her parents say the words again, she hoped they would be proud of her choices.